Hi, it's Forced Death here, and woke up to some of the worst news I think I've woke up to in a long time. Um, as you can probably tell from the title of this video if you didn't already know, or if you didn't read the series beforehand, Kentaro Miura of Berserk has passed away May 6th, and he died of some disease at the age of 54. This sucks. Just to put it bluntly, this really sucks. A lot of people predicted how we're talking about how Berserk was going to end, and I don't think anybody said that it was going to end with Guts meeting the Moonlight Child on Elfhelm, and that was it. Um, I when I first heard the news from my friend, I woke up and I got a text message, and I read it, and it just said straight up, Miura is dead. And I thought he was setting up a joke at first. When I read that, I'm like, I didn't feel anything. I thought he's setting up some kind of joke. And whenever somebody does do stuff like that, there'll be some trolling on Instagram or any other social media where they'll say, oh my god, rip Elon, and they'll spam that around. And I don't believe it, but I always have that drive, I guess, to just check on social media and then hit the news, like type in their name, hit news on Google, and see if there's anything actually related about their death, like the Rip Elon thing. But that's what I did when he said Miura is dead. I was like, there's no way. Typed in Kentaro Miura, hit recent news, and I was met with the articles actually saying it. When I saw that, it didn't hit yet. I just looked at it, and I was confused. I couldn't believe it. And I didn't believe it. I didn't feel like it was real. Even still now at the time of this recording, I'm still trying to process that Kentaro Miura is actually gone. Because it just released, and it was May 6th, and today is May 20th when we finally found out. Like, it's just it's crazy. Literally, you wake up and he's just gone. Kentaro Miura, man, what he was able to do with his work, I haven't read any of his other works like Gigantomaxia or that other series he started. I forget what it's called, and that's also never going to finish. But Berserk was actually, I think, was it? I think that was the first manga I ever read. And that was in 2017, the fall of 2017, when I was in community college and I was getting into anime, and my friend told me about a manga called Berserk to try out. And let me say, not a lot of people can do what Miura does. The themes that you'll find in Berserk, and just the story and the characters relating to them, I find it's very hard to replicate and hard to do well. I feel it really hit me when Miura was gone. When, after my friend texted it, I went on social media and saw everybody talking about it. And then I went on YouTube and saw people talking about it. And then I just sat there, looked at my shelf, because I own every single Berserk volume in America, like that's published in the US right now. Thought about all the great experiences I had reading it, and I think that's when it hit. And it really stinks. I feel really sad. And I don't know if it's strange that I feel sad, like this upset over the passing of someone who I never even met, who was just a manga author, but he was just able to do things that really, really made your emotions, really brought out some serious emotions. Sadness, pride, not to give up, He did all these so well, not like I've seen in any other works similar, but never really nailed the same feeling as Berserk for most of what the story had to entail. The themes that Miura could do, just I don't think we're gonna get another person like Miura in a long time. Takahino Inoue, from what I've heard, is close. I've only read the first half of the first Visbig of Vagabond, and it's very promising, but I think the only person I could think of that would be close to Kentaro Miura is Takahino Inoue, from what I could think of in a similar sense. And I think, too, what also made me, like, realize that Kentaro Miura was gone was after I was just thinking about the whole Berserk, all the good, all of the sad, depressing moments from the story that I read. It's never going to finish. This is it. And, there's all this talk about someone maybe stepping in and finishing the story. Someone that, like, Miura trusts. Or they might have some notes lying around of Miura, like the plot that he had planned out for how he would finish the story. That may get released, but I most likely think this is it. I don't think that it's likely we're going to get a lot more from Berserk other than an official statement from the publisher or his team saying that it's over. I think the closest thing to the most that we would get from this would be notes from Miura released about how he would end the series. I think someone continuing the series is pretty unlikely for a lot of reasons. The artwork, the narrative would be very tough to nail. A lot of people would be unsatisfied. Some people wouldn't like it just because it wasn't Miura's envision, possibly, if someone continued. And Berserk is basically Miura's life. He's been writing this series for decades. And some people think it should end, that he's passed away too. I think I'm also leaning into that camp, but I wouldn't mind if some notes released about how he was going to end the series. And I think a lot of people would like that as well, if there are any even. This series, though, I've only been reading since 2017. I can't imagine the people who have been reading this for like the past 2 decades, have been reading it since it came out in '89, how they feel. Like, in a way, this could be some other people's life as well. In '89, they could have been 12 years old. Now they could be like a middle-aged adult, and they could have read it all that time and gone. Something that also played a big part in their life just over. We're not going to get, I think, a lot of people like Miura anymore. So I feel that all this talk about, oh, Berserk's never gonna finish, oh no, we gotta resolve all these points, like, who is Zod, like, what's Zod's relation with Skull Knight, who is Skull Knight, we just got, like, a big, dump about the previous God Hand, and how Skull Knight might have been a former Guts, and he had to make a sacrifice of some kind, like, what was all of that? All these questions that, we are never gonna get answers to. Before, that really bothered me. All this talk about how Miura might die before Berserk finishes. I never would have thought he died this young, but it was a thought that I constantly had. And because of that, all this stuff bothered me, that it would never get resolved. But now that it's actually happened, I think from here on out with certain stories, people are going to be more appreciative of what we have already. For example, like, I've never read this series at all, but Hunter x Hunter, I think the last chapter for that came out in 2018. People are wondering if that series is ever going to finish. Vagabond by Takahito Inoue, I think the last chapter released for that was 6 years ago, and it's been on hiatus since. People are wondering if that's ever going to get a conclusion. But I really do think from here on out, people are going to be more appreciative of what we have from these works, because it requires so much time. It requires so much effort and love to make these pieces of media that it could really start affecting their health. And at times they just gotta be like, I need a break. It's interfering with my health. I gotta stop for a little bit. Because that's the problem. Like, a lot of them have to meet deadlines. And the manga industry as a whole, even for shonen series, like some people, it's just not healthy after a while. I'm really sad. Berserk really is one of a kind. Berserk has inspired so much too. It's inspired some music, even in America, from some metal bands that I've heard who have wrote songs based off of the Berserk manga. It's inspired video games, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, anything from Software really. This just is very upsetting. I've only read Miura's Berserk. I've only read Berserk for 4 years. Well, 3.5, almost 4 years. But, truly disheartening. Truly very sad thing to wake up to, but I still think in its own right, Berserk from him is one of the best mangas, and I think it still will remain one of the best mangas after all this time. Because of all the things, all of the things that it will make you feel, all of the lessons, all of the themes in the story are going to hold up for decades to come. My heart goes out to Miura's family and Miura's friends. I'm sure he was a phenomenal person in real life. I honestly don't know much about Miura's personal life, but I'm sure he was a great guy. He had to have been to write something like this. I feel what the overall thing, what I'm trying to say here is, I think from here on out, myself and others will be more appreciative of what we get from the authors, rather than just looking for conclusions. Yeah, it's a pretty sad day today. I don't know what else to say here really, other than if you haven't read Berserk and you came across this, please read it. I still think there's definitely a lot you can get out of this story, regardless of it probably never going to be finished. Yeah, rest in peace, Miura. Thank you so much for writing this wonderful story. I hope you're, wherever you are, if there is an afterlife, I hope you're there, and I hope you're having all the Idol Master stuff that you can in a heaven. Ah, man.